Alright guys, I need you to pause for a second and really think about this. Because what we're about to talk about today, this isn't just another random rumor. This isn't just another fan theory floating around the timeline. This one feels different. This one feels personal. Because imagine this. Out of all the people in the world, out of all the friends, all the industry connections, all the celebrities, Jimin's own father personally inviting Jungkook to a private family event. Not a public event, not a concert, not a company gathering, a family event. Let that sink in for a second. Guys, we've been part of this community long enough to know that things like this don't just happen randomly. Especially when it comes to BTS, especially when it comes to something as private as family. And the question that's been quietly echoing through the fandom right now is, could this be more than just friendship? Could this be a silent, subtle, unspoken blessing? Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's walk through this together as a community. Because what makes this situation so fascinating is not just the invitation itself, but what it represents. Think about it. In Korean culture, family is everything. It's sacred. It's not something you casually mix with just anyone. Being invited into that space, into a private family moment, means trust. It means respect. It means you are seen as someone important enough to be included in a circle that is usually very, very protected. And this is where things start to get interesting. Because Jungkook isn't just any friend. We all know their history. We've seen the moments, the interactions, the way they look at each other, the way they support each other, the comfort, the familiarity, the bond that has grown over years. This isn't something new. This isn't something that appeared overnight. This is something that has been built, layer by layer, moment by moment, in front of our eyes. But here's the thing that makes this moment feel different. This isn't about what we see on stage. This isn't about performances or fan service or playful interactions. This is happening off camera, behind the scenes, in a space where there's no audience, no expectations, no need to perform. And yet, Jungkook is there. Invited. Welcomed. Guys, can we just take a moment and imagine how that must have felt? Walking into a family event, being greeted not as a global superstar, not as Jungkook from BTS, but as Jungkook, as someone who matters to Jimin's family. That kind of acceptance hits differently. That kind of moment stays with you. And I know what some of you might be thinking. Maybe it's just friendship. Maybe it's just because they're close. And yes, that's absolutely a possibility. We're not here to force narratives or create something that isn't there. But at the same time, we can't ignore the emotional weight of something like this. Because even in the context of friendship, this level of closeness is rare. Let's be real for a second. How many of your friends have been invited into your private family gatherings? Not birthdays with a big group, not casual hangouts, but something truly intimate. Something where only the closest people are present. Not many, right? That's why this situation feels so significant. And what makes it even more intriguing is the fact that this invitation came from Jimin's father. Not just Jimin himself, but his father. That detail alone adds another layer to the story. Because it suggests recognition. It suggests that Jungkook isn't just important to Jimin, but also acknowledged by his family. Now guys, let me ask you something honestly. If someone's parent invites you into a private family space, what does that usually mean? It means they've heard about you. It means they know who you are. It means they trust you enough to welcome you into their world. That's not something that happens without a reason. And this is where the emotions start to build. Because whether you see Jungkook as best friends, soulmates, or something more, moments like this deepen the narrative. They add complexity. They make you pause and think. Wait, what is really going on here? We've seen countless interactions between Jimin and Jungkook over the years. The playful teasing, the quiet support, the way they gravitate toward each other even in crowded rooms. The way their energy shifts when they're together. And every time the fandom reacts. We analyze, we discuss, we feel. But this feels like something else. This feels like a glimpse into a world we don't usually get to see. A world where the cameras are off, where the spotlight is gone, where it's just them being real. And I think that's why this moment is hitting the fandom so deeply. Because it's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's almost like a whisper. But sometimes the quietest moments speak the loudest. Now let's talk about the emotional side of this, because I know a lot of you are feeling it. There's excitement, of course. There's curiosity. But there's also something softer, something more personal. There's this feeling of warmth, of comfort, of seeing two people who clearly care about each other being accepted and embraced. And whether you interpret this as a blessing or simply as a sign of deep trust, it's hard not to feel something when you think about it. Because at the end of the day, what we're witnessing here is connection. Real, human connection. But let's not forget, we are still outsiders looking in. We see fragments, pieces, glimpses. We don't see the full picture. And that's important. Because while it's fun to speculate, to imagine, to feel, we also need to respect their privacy. Whatever their relationship is, whatever this moment truly means, it belongs to them. Still, we can't deny the impact it has on us as a community. Because moments like this bring us together. They give us something to talk about, something to feel, something to connect over. And that's what makes this fandom so special. It's not just about the music. It's about the stories, the emotions, the bonds we witness and share. And guys, if this really is a quiet form of acceptance, a subtle acknowledgement, a silent blessing, then that's something beautiful. Not because it confirms anything, not because it proves a theory, but because it shows support. It shows openness. It shows love in its own way. And honestly, in a world where people are often judged, where relationships are questioned, where emotions are complicated, seeing something like this, even in its quiet form, feels reassuring. So whether you're someone who fully believes in Jungkook, someone who sees them as best friends, or someone who's just here enjoying the journey, this moment matters. It adds depth. It adds emotion. It adds another chapter to a story that continues to evolve. And now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think this really means? Do you see it as just a friendly gesture? Or do you feel like there's something deeper behind it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those moments where every perspective matters. And if you felt something while listening to this, if this story made you pause, think, or even smile a little, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're going to keep diving into stories like this. Stories that make us feel, stories that bring this community closer together. And most importantly, stay kind, stay respectful, and keep supporting the people we all care about. I'll see you guys in the next one.